Well, things are beginning to heat up at Spurs. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate to the weather outside. It's freezing. Hence the reason for this, people. Yes, you know where you are, Paxton Road TV.
It's just different.
Hello, I'm Sam Spurs for Life. This is Paxton Road TV, and this is Talking Points episode number 116. I was just trying to get the overlay there to put up. I'll be with you in a second. But welcome. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like, share the stream around. Make sure you look us up, Paxton Road TV and Paxton Road. What else are we called? PRTv Spurs. That's it. Almost forgotten then. Bloody hell, that's how long it's been since I've done that. About a week and a half. Anyway. Introducing my supreme guest, as always, Sid Spurs, Sean Hurl. Welcome to another edition of Talking Points, number 116. Do you like that one? Sean, I know you like my titles, didn't you? Oh, there's no background. What's going on? Sorry, go on. Sorry, I'm just trying to find. That's better. That's a little bit better. I like that. Cool. Yeah, my titles. What do you think of that one?
I think I've just got it. I was looking at it earlier and going, "What the hell is he on about? Is he in pre-holiday mood a bit too soon?"
I got to get you thinking. All right. I got to keep the people thinking. Are you all right, Sid?
I'm good. Chilling, relaxing. Yes.
Fabulous. Well, it was mainly to talk about the transfers, I guess the rumours, since we ain't got a game this weekend. The Arsenal have got a game this weekend, and that should be interesting. Are they playing tonight or tomorrow?
I couldn't give a shit.
I think they're playing tomorrow, actually. So.
I like that one. So. Well, anyway, that's the only thing I'll be probably watching, as well as the UFC. What else is playing? There's not many. I'm not really into the AFCON at the moment because I wait till it gets to the latter stages. Some of the football I'm seeing is, let's say, interesting.
Cape Verde could qualify today if they win, and they've only played 2 games. How madness is that?
It's mad. But I guess I understand the reasons for it. It's promoting the African countries, and it's good for it because it has grown bigger over the last number of years. But we'll see. I said the latter stages it will get a little bit more interesting for me. I can't be watching some of them games. Whew. Anyway, let's talk about Spurs. Antonio Nusa. I must admit, I didn't know nothing about this guy, this youngster, before the last couple of days. It was Darius who kind of said, "Have you heard about this Nusa, Antonio Nusa?" I was like, "I don't really know." "Oh, I plays for Club Brugge. He's played in the Champions League. He's sparkling." So 18, go on and put the Brazil scout on. Watched it, and I'm like, I can understand why there's a lot of dialogue going on, possibly between Spurs and Club Brugge, because this is a player that, if we get him, and it can obviously translate to that, what I've seen, we've got a player on our hands. Sean, I'll start with you. Have you heard much about him? Do you know much about him? Have you done any sort of behind the scenes? Because it's all over like Twitter now. You know, the tier ones, as they say, the Charlie Ecclestons, Mr. Romano, they're all kind of like reporting on it. What's your thoughts about it? And is it someone that you think we should be behind in this current climate?
I have to say, I was aware of this guy actually, but I have to give credit to Sean Butler of Spurs Talks, because he's been talking about him for weeks and months, and he was the one who kind of first raised him in my consciousness. In fact, he was talking about both their wingers for Club Brugge. At one stage, PRTv was supposed to have gone to watch Club Brugge in Europe, and he was looking at both their wingers, who are both supposed to be like pretty good. So, but Sean has definitely been all over this guy Nusa. From all accounts, he's absolutely brilliant. And what I can't get over is I don't recognise this Tottenham Hotspur. We're planning, we're recruiting, we're thinking ahead, we're buying places that we've got obvious weaknesses, deficits. we're buying players who look like they can play in an Ange Postecoglou system. What is going on? What's happened? What, you know, has Daniel finally got his medication right, or is he locked away in a cupboard? It's Johan and his pals that are all doing the job with the help of obviously Don Fabio. I don't know. I mean, I'm quite excited from what I see. I like the fact that we're going to loan him back for a year or for the rest of the season rather, and we might see him come back. But we, you know, things. I mean, not just this. You know, the divine loan to Plymouth, the fact that Ashley went to Plymouth and was man of the match in his first game. Things are so positive around Tottenham at the minute. So positive. Can't believe it.
Yeah, definitely. It's positive when we can like think, oh, that player, he's just come out of nowhere. But again, looking at what we've been doing scouting wise, it seems to be a third with the youngsters here. The Valise, obviously the Phillips signing that we've got in. You know, we've talked about Donnelly's, we've talked about Alfie Devine's, Scarlett as well. You know, all those players are around about late teens, early 20s. It spells good for the future. It does spell good for the future. And it kind of shows that they've got a bit of a policy now, more so a thought process. My only concern is, are we getting some of these players and there's going to be a little bit of a gap? Because if you think about it, Son is our oldest player at the moment. And then you've got Madison, Romero, and about the 26, Benton Core around about that sort of age. I guess Basuma as well. And then we are going into youngsters. Pedro Porro is only 23. Do you know what I mean? He don't look like he's 23, but he's 23. Udogi. So we've got some youngsters, and I'm hoping that they can still go on along that talent roster that we've got, because we've got some really good youngsters that are going to be worldies in the near future. And I hope they work out. What I must add to this, though, is that scarf. I like it. I didn't realize. I just noticed your scarf, Sean. I like it. You look very artistic. You look like you should be painting somewhere in France. Sid, what's your thoughts about Nusa? What's happening in your world of Spurs and transfers?
You know, to be fair, Nusa was a bolt, come out of the bolt. I didn't know much what was going on until it's all over, and then it's been rinsed and repeated by this, you know, different people with the same things. At least change the bloody things. But I don't know. I think they've obviously scouted him. I don't think it's something that's just come out of the woodwork. I think it's one of the players that they've been looked at, because, like you said, Sean, a lot of our recruitment team are out and about now scouting players, and we're not actually just looking and picking players for the sake of them. They're actually being scouted now proper, like Brighton, the way Brighton do it, and you know, teams like that. And they're watching them, and then they must have thought it was good. The only thing for me is he's 18 years old. They're looking at loaning him back to Bruges and then see what happens. I'm sort of getting to that thing where, okay, it's like the Udogi scenario where we get him and then we loan him back to them. But I hope he doesn't turn out to be a Gil kind of thing, because Gil was similar, weren't it? We looked at him, he's got pace, he's got this, he's doing this, he's doing that. And then we went and got him, and then he was too lightweight, he's do this. This kid's only 18, isn't he? And from what I've read, what I've heard, what Sean is saying as well, is he's supposed to be a very good player. But obviously, he's not going to get in straight away. He's going to be work in progress. 25 million, is it? To 30 million, they're saying. Listen, if Postecoglou's okay in it, if our scouting team are saying his potential is bloody good, then who are we to say, we've got to go with it? Because obviously Postecoglou's got plans for him. Nothing's going to go. Players are not going to not go through him. He's going to have to give the final okay. They're not going to, like previous managers and previous years, we're not going to be that situation where players are thrown. There you go. You're getting him. Deal with it. No, it seems that Postecoglou then has that final phone call. It's that £1 million question, isn't it? What do you want to do? Can I phone a friend? Yeah, not a problem. Picks the phone up. Right.
Can I phone a friend?
This is what's going to happen. Yeah. This is my way. Do you want to come and play for Tottenham? Yes or no? Put the phone down. And then that's it. So it sounds very good. And also on the loaning thing, I think we've now come to that, in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, but we're now coming to that stage where the young players are not being sent on loan just for the sake of being sent on loan. Oh, you got potential. I tell you what, let's send you to Championship or League One or League Two to get experience. And if it doesn't work there, then I'll move you to another League One club. And if it doesn't work there, you can come back and then we'll send you again on loan. No. This time it looks like Postecoglou saying, where did he send him? Port Vale. He's rinsed it at Port Vale. He's too good to be there. Bring him back. We'll send him to a Championship side now. Let's try him out. Dane Scarlett, he's supposed to be one of my potential strikers. What? You're not playing him? I'll have him back. I'll do something else with him. You know what I mean? So it's good. We're not letting them rot in these loan spells elsewhere for the full 6 months. If they're not getting game time, if they're overachieving there, bring them back, send them elsewhere, gain more. So you're developing higher up until Postecoglou says, now you're my guy, come back into the squad. So it's like Sean said, it's like watching the Masked Singer now with Tottenham Hotspur. Who are you? Who are you? Take it off. Take it off. Because we don't know what's going on with Spurs. This last 6 months, it's like, what the hell?
Do you know what it is? It's just called bloody planning. It's called having a bit of a plan, knowing what you're doing, knowing what you need to go for that fits your style, that fits your system, and you've got a philosophy. And that's clearly what we have now. We hadn't had that for years. You know, even so much from the Poch days, you know, towards the end, yeah, Poch had a style of play, but I don't know if we had a policy, a buying policy. I don't know if we had a specific, right, we need, because obviously we didn't get too many transfers. We went through that stage where we went through a couple of transfer windows not buying players. So we weren't obviously in the market. And Poch is probably one of the reasons why he went, probably the biggest reason why he went. But what I'm saying is we didn't have a buying policy. It was just like, oh yeah, Ndombele, stop Man City getting him. He played well in the Champions League, 50 million, here you go. What are you doing that for? You ain't checked him out. You ain't seen his background. You don't know what he's like. You ain't seen if this guy is going to be, you know, a player that's going to be able to come to England and just go off and do it. Similar to how, you know, we've seen youngsters like Van der Ven just come in. Looks like he's been here for years and he talks and he feels like he's confident and he's giving off the aura that he's happy to be here. We're not doing him a favour. Ndombele, I'm not just going to use him, but I'm just going to use him now. It looked like we're doing him a favour, you know, by getting him and then paying him 200 grand a week for him to do what he's done after all the things I said about him, which makes me angry a little bit. But what do you think this means for Brian Hill? Because I as I said, we also have to talk about Perisic. Perisic looks like he's going back this month potentially to Ajax split. On both those counts, then, Sid, I'll start with you. On the Gil thing with regards to this Nusa kind of talk, what does it mean for him? And does it kind of almost reinforce that we probably are likely to get a left-sided player because it looks like, what's his name, Perisic, although he's not going to play for us for the rest of the season, is out on loan?
Perisic one, for me, it's a strange one because obviously, as far as we were aware, he was out for the season. And Postecoglou then turned around and said he's not going to kick a ball for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club again. Obviously, now we had this discussion just prior to coming on, and it makes sense now, as you guys said. His contract runs out in the summer. So rather than just keep paying him for nothing, it makes sense if Hydro Splits have been after him for ages. And I believe it's done. It's all done and dusted. He is their player, apparently, from what I'm reading. Then it makes sense. We're not sitting on him for 6 months or whatever more months, paying him 180 grand, as you said, Sean. You know, that's a lot of money. Or it's almost just under $1 million. So that's one off, and a player gone as well. All the best to him, you know what I mean? It's a shame that we couldn't get to see him under Postecoglou because I think he would have done the job under Postecoglou on the left-hand side with his system. But you can only wish him best of luck and quick recovery and then let him do what he's got to do in Croatia. So that's that. Gills wants to stay at Spurs. Apparently, he's said he wants to stay. He's got no intentions of going. However, Mr. Ruthless Postecoglou, like he said to Dyer and who was the other player, he said to you, you're not in my plans. Yeah, walk out that door. Don't turn around because you're not welcome anymore. If Gil is that type of player that Postecoglou says you're not in my plans, then I think it's best for him to see if he can find elsewhere. I know he wants to stay at Spurs. I know he wants to prove himself. But from what I've seen of him, I just think Prem's not made for him. I think he's just too lightweight. He needs to be in the sun somewhere in Spain or somewhere, just lavishing it with his, hair and floating hair and whatever. So it's an interesting one, like Gil one. It's a very interesting one. Even if he stays till the summer, how much game time is he going to get? Because remember, guys, we've got a lot of players coming back as well from injury. So it's going to get tense. And if he's only getting bits now, what's he going to do when the likes of Madison's and Sons and all of them not come back, Bissouma, Saws, all of them come back? I think he's going to slowly slip down the pecking order, mate.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to come to you as well because I want to get your thoughts about the whole kind of, Ivan Perisic with the Gil thing. Because Gil looks like a player. When I used to coach, I had this guy, probably under 12s, under 30s, up to about under 16s. His name was Greg. I won't say his surname. But he was a bit lightweight, and he wasn't the best player in the world, but he would always try his best. And he'd always start a sub most of the time. And you felt sorry for him. He'd always bring him on. Oh, it's kind of like Greg. Oh, I'm sorry, Greggy. You got have 10 minutes. Then he'd have a really great 10 minutes, and you think, oh, might be. Let's start you, Greg. But you know what? Greg never really did anything because he was at that level. Maybe it's not quite right for him. And I see the same sort of kind of like comparisons with Gil. Every time I see him, he looks like he's really trying hard. He's trying his best. But he does look like a 14-year-old playing in man's football. And then he loves a kind of cameo where he does something and you think, there's some real potential there. But I don't think long-term we're going to get it. But now we're going to be going for an 18-year-old, potentially, who's got more bags of potential. Just looking at some of the stats here, he's played 84 games in total, scored 11 and got 5 assists. So he's not exactly breaking down the stats, but 18, plenty of development. But yeah, Sean, is this the right sort of deal that we should be looking at? And is, like I said, the future of Gil, is that it? Even though he said he wants to stay.
I think Gil's got 6 months to prove. I think he's going to stay to the end of the season. He certainly said he's told Ange, if I'm going, I don't want to go on a temporary transfer. I want to go full time. And I think Spurs have actually set a price on him, which is quite competitive, And from all accounts, Seville have actually made an offer. So if they were to make, if they were to match the fee that they've got in mind, then I would say that Gil would probably go. Left-hand side's a bit difficult. We've got him. We've got Solomon who's coming back. We did have Perisic, but it is, let's be honest. That post is nailed down by our team captain, club captain.
Mm-hmm.
The left-hand side. So I don't see how anyone could really, expect us to do. We really couldn't. It didn't make financial sense to pay Perisic till he possibly comes back in April, May. By that time, it's getting serious at that point if you look at our fixtures. So, the Perisic move makes sense. I keep hoping for Gil because I do see, as you say, sometimes he can do things. And I remember that game against Crystal Palace away last season where he was absolutely dynamite with him and Kane, the combinations and things like that. And he does seem happy. I mean, that's one thing about our squad. Even if you're not starting every week, you're part of a family. That you can see that there's a kind of, he's got that kind of Hispanic team that he hangs around with. The Romeros, the Bentacurs, Porro and that. So he does appear to be quite happy. He's a trier. He tries, but whether he's as I say, as Sid has alluded to, has he got the physicality for the Premier League, which is a very pacey, a very physical league? I don't know, but this guy Nusa comes from the Northern Hemisphere. He's a Norwegian international, I think. So he will probably have a bit more about him, I would think. And from FB Ref, his stats are really, really good. And at 18, he's the second youngest goal scorer in the Champions League. So he's got, he's played in the Champions League. He's played at a high level, even at 18. I think he could, I mean, we could have got ourselves a little gem, and at 30 million, that's music to all our ears, because the days of spending 60 million on players it just haven't worked out for us.
But Sean,
it just haven't worked out for us.
he can also play on the left, on the right, and through the middle as well.
Well, that's it. That's what Ange is all about, isn't it? It's about versatility.
Yeah.
Players that can play across. Even like Werner, a 6 month trial, he can play anywhere across the front line. And you need versatility. You need rotation. I mean, I've been crying out for someone to give Porro a game off, because he's knackered. He's absolutely exhausted. But I just, as I say, I can't recognise this Tottenham Hotspur, because we're planning, we're rejuvenating the team. Going from one of the oldest to one of the youngest teams. I mean, our back four is like 21-year-old Udogi, 21 Dragushin, 22-year-old Van der Ven. It's incredible.
23-year-old Porro, and he's 23. He must be 24 soon. I'm sure he's 24 soon.
Yeah,
but
Romero's the oldest at 25. I mean, it's like,
how old's Vicario? Is he 25 as well? 25?
No,
Vicario's 27, I think. He's a little bit more experienced, but
that's all right.
That's okay.
That's young for a keeper in keeper's terms.
Yeah,
that's young.
Yeah, in keeper's terms. So I mean, our back five, and we've got cover. We're starting to get cover together. I do think that we need backup at left back, as Eddie's just alluded to there.
Yeah, I was going to say about this. What's your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on Van der Ven? Because I look at this and think kind of like, but then I think because of our left backs, they're not effectively left backs. They are inside playing players. I've seen enough of the profile and the potential of Van der Ven to think I think he could fit in there seamlessly in terms of his pace, recovery to get back. He's good on the ball. Udogi, I think Udogi is definitely, that's his position. That is his shirt for somebody else to take, and I don't think anybody's going to take it real soon. But if we do come into a situation where we do need to rest him, and you're right, Sean, Porro needs to rest as well. But I can see after the Man City game, I could see Royal probably getting a game against Brentford potentially, because I think we're at home for that game. We are at home because we played the first game away. I'm not sure when Udogi might get a rest, because we're really struggling. Ben Davies being out, Ryan Sessegnon not doing what he's doing. We'll say again. He can go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's gone. In my head, he's gone already. Like I said, when he came out the other day, I was like, oh, well done, great. And then what happens? He's injured again. How long is he injured for? I don't know. Is it just a bit of a setback? I feel sorry for the kid, but he's not a kid really anymore. He's 23, 24, probably coming up 24 this year. But
it's still young though, Sam, isn't it?
He's still young, but he's been around since he's been 16. So when you're that type of player that's been around from that age, you kind of either excel really well like a Rooney did and other players of that sort of standard, or you become anonymous because people just think you've been here for years, and then it really progressed. And that's what it feels like for Sessegnon. I think to myself, he must be about 26, 27, the way he's been around, but he's 23. He's 24 in May, I think it is. I feel sorry for him. But yeah, I think you're right, Sid, he can go. So anyway, with this left back thing, Van der Ven, you think he could do it?
Me, I don't think so. The reason why is because he's been brought in as a centre-back, right? And I think David's put a quote here, Sam, if you want to bring it up.
Oh, David? Yeah.
Yeah. That every player in my 20s, I agree with him. Every player anyone can play anywhere across the pitch, but that doesn't mean that they are any good at doing it. It's this one, so I'll bring it up.
Yeah, there you go.
That one. I think I sort of agree with that. People can say, I can play anywhere and all them pitches. Johnson being one of them. He can't play on the left. And we've seen that, Sean. We've had discussions on that. So with Van der Ven as well, I think it's the same. He's a centre-back, left-sided centre-back. Let him do that job. Desperate.
Can I just add to that?
Good.
Ben Davies, we said the same thing about him. He's not a centre-back, or he's a centre-back, or he's a left side. He's had to do a job. Footballers with intelligence can play pretty much anywhere. Not to say he's going to play in goal, but these are football players. They probably all started off playing up front because that's how it usually works. And you kind of morph into a position, you then become more defensive. So I have to have flexibility and variability in play. So if we do have an injury situation, I fully expect Ange to make a decision. Right, has he got the right credentials, the right profile, the right sort of style? Can he do that role? And I hope the answer is yes to those questions.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say is, from what I've seen of Van de Ven, he might be able to play a standard fullback, but I don't know whether he could play like the inverted fullback under Ange Postecoglou's system. I just don't. I'm not.
Okay,
I mean, you'd have to
I'll ask you questions about 3 players. Did we think Emerson Royal could do that? Not in a million years did I think he could do that. Did I think Porro could do it effectively? Potentially, because I know he's got technical ability, but he's a wing back as such. He's playing midfield for us, but he's playing it extremely well. And I look at Ben Davies as being the other one. There's no way on earth I thought Ben Davies was going to be able to play an inverted left-sided fullback based on the fact that he's only been really a left-back or left-sided centre-back at a push for Wales when he was like in their back 3. So again, these players have the ability because they're coachable.
The thing about Ben Davies though is that that being the left hand side of a back 3, does give you that ability to be an inverted left back. Whereas
I agree.
Van de Ven, as far as I know, has only ever played as part of a 2. He's never done it. He's never been like the left hand side of a 3, which I think it gives Davis a bit of an advantage on that position. I mean, I could be proven wrong. It's just an eye. For me, it's just an eye test. It's just an eye test.
For me, it was more the footballing ability that Ben Davies got. He's not blessed with pace. He's not the most physical in the world. And I had some concerns about those things when he started to play at centre back. But he's proved me wrong. He proved me wrong, and unfortunately, he's now out for a few more weeks. So I'm not saying that that's what I want to play Van de Ven. No, certainly not. But push came to shove. He has all the attributes to be able to do it. Whether or not he could make it, like Kulusevski. We talked about Kulusevski. Like, you think he can play in that 10? I know he's probably said that that's his best position anyway. But people have put him out onto the right hand side, and he's effective there. Flexibility and players' ability to go across the line. That's what Ange wants. So I'm happy if that happens. No, I'm telling a lie. I wouldn't be happy if that happens, but I'll be all right if we have to do it for whatever reason. Go on.
Do you know what? The thing is, right? Van de Ven is brought in as a centre back to play with Romero, and now we've went and gone Dragushin. So we've got now 3 centre backs for cover. We've got rid of Tanganga, we've got rid of Sanchez, we've got rid of Dyers, right? So now we've got 3 very, very good centre backs, right? Postecoglou won't be looking at covering a left back position with one of his centre backs, right? He will be looking at Ben Davies to cover Destiny, right? Udagi, if he gets injured. If Ben Davies is still not injured, then if push comes to the shove, then maybe for 1 or 2 games, he could potentially say, maybe, can you cover that? But then I think Cesc comes back in there. So Cesc will start there if he has to. Left back in the summer, then we can look at getting somebody understudy to Destiny. If Ben Davies is, then you're going to look at Ben Davies as a cover, just a backup kind of player. Then you're going to look at potentially a serious left back cover for Destiny Udagi, right? We've got 3 centre backs now, which are going to start rotating, and potentially next season, Ashley Phillips comes in. So that's your 4 centre backs done. Not a problem. Unless, and it's never going to happen, Brighton, what's his name? Ben White was playing centre back for Brighton. Arsenal bought him a right centre back. They've now pushed him to play on the right, and they've now made him as a right back. Yeah, Postecoglou ain't gonna do that at all. He's bought in a centre back to play as a centre back, and he's got 3 very good ones now. I cannot see them being pushed out to the left or the right just to become a makeshift left back or a right back. I cannot see Postecoglou doing that at all.
At all. Okay, fair. That's fair enough. And
also on the left back thing, Davis has been linked with Leeds United this week. So
who?
Ben Davis has been linked with Leeds United this week.
I
So
don't think he'd go.
I don't think he would go. But it's you know, so that it may well be that he will at the end of the season. Something may or may not happen, and we need to get a left back. I like the look of that. What's his name? Robinson at Fulham. I think he's a really good left back.
You see,
but he'd be quite expensive, you know.
Just one thing. We have to be a little bit careful with the left backs that we do get, and this is the reason for the scouting having to be really good. They need to be coachable players. That's the one thing. But they effective, as I mentioned a number of times, and we all know this, they're not effectively always playing left back most of the time because we've got the ball. They're playing in midfield, so they have to be good on the ball. They can't just be speed merchants that could get down the line. They do need to be footballers, and I think they're kind of hard to find. That's why I guess if you look at teams like Arsenal, they struggled with playing. What's his name there? What's his name? Who played left back for them for all that while?
Tierney.
Tierney, yeah. He can't really do that role inside. But then they've got, what's his name, Zinchenko, that can play the inside, but he can't defend. So you've got to get a hybrid of both. So you really have to really do your scouting really well to know what this player's about. But for me, if they're coachable more so than anything, and they've got that talent, that's what I'm looking for. So I'm not saying, again, I'm just going back to that Van de Ven point. I'm not saying in any way that I want to see him there, but I look at his attributes and think, if we have to play him there, I would rather him there than Sessegnon. I'll be honest with you, he just won't have it, because players who are in the team are confident anyway. They know the system. They can kind of work things out, whereas someone who hasn't really played much, who's not been part of the system, he probably doesn't even feel part of the squad. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if players like Sessegnon feel part of the squad at the moment, although they might be training with. I just don't know. It's
Was
hard.
you in London today, Sam? Was you in London today by any chance?
No.
I was having a conversation with a gooner today. Yeah. And exactly what you just said is the conversation we had about Tierney going forward, can't defend. Zinchenko going in the middle, can't defend. I'm like, hold on, I just had this conversation this morning. My conversation.
Deja vu in full effect.
Madness.
I tell you what, I like Tierney. I like Tierney
I
too.
do like him as a player, yeah. But again, would he fit our system?
So rapid.
Again, a brilliant player. And you could see that, most clubs, and that's what I'm saying, it's a bit, Arsenal are not going to really want to let him go, but this guy wants to play football. So if they're not going to play a system that suits him, you're wasting his time, you're wasting their time as well. But effectively, I want a player to show me, right, okay, that's where the boss wants me to play. I'm not in the team. Can I progress into that? Have I got the football minerals to be able to do that? Porro's done it, coachable, but he's got a good coach. You need a good coach. I don't think Arteta can coach that well. If I'm brutally honest with you, I don't think he can. In terms of man managing, getting players to want to do stuff for him. The players that he likes, great. The players that don't really get into... Why are we talking about Arsenal? I don't know. I just got stuck there. I'm sorry about that. I know you guys don't really want to do that. Let's get back onto the transfer stuff anyway. And have a few of these comments. Listen, Ange hasn't brought Van de Ven to play left back. Christ, by another centre back. And 5 seconds later, you're saying, where is Ange going to fit all three in? That's not what he was bought for. True. Competition for places. We want to play. We want cover. We need cover. But Van de Ven didn't play at left back at his club sometimes. Didn't Van de Ven play left back?
Didn't Van de Ven play left back?
I don't know is the answer to that.
Wolfsburg, not that I'm aware of.
I haven't looked into that enough, but we can find that out at some point. This is the highest level. This is David Clark again. This is the highest level in England, not shirts down on a par with your mates. We have to be serious. Davis has done well, but he's not the answer at centre-back. He's a squad player and no more. But a squad player that's a very, very important squad player. If you think about it, Ben Davies wasn't on the radar for playing any left-back, centre-back particularly, and he's done that, and he's done well. Let's not forget that.
We all had him left back in the changing room, didn't we?
We did. We said, and even in the early part of the season, when he got done in the air a couple of times, I was like, I know what's going to happen here. He's going to get this, that, they're going to target us. But he didn't. We didn't concede from any crosses up until recently in terms of corners, I think. So, Ange is doing something right. Davis is okay back up at the moment to cover Van de Ven, but we need to look for better in the summer. No problems. I think that's definitely something we have to do, Daniel. Daniel E, welcome, mate. Seen you before. Versatility is important, says Callum. Radu can play right back if needed. Van der Ven can play left back, as can Kobe Takura and Ricardo Calafiore. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. The two left-footed centre backs we have been linked to still need a doggy competition. We do need a dog. Is that? I don't even know them players, to be honest with you.
Ikatara is the one that we've been linked with him for, is it 10 to 15 million in the summer? And he's a player that Postecoglou wanted at Celtic as well, so he's still got his eye on him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his eyes on him.
And David's saying Andrew will never start with a back three. The only time it will happen is in the battle of a game if circumstances or injuries during the game dictates that he has no choice. That's true. I've seen that play a back three, but only when circumstances dictated.
I wouldn't say, David. I wouldn't say that he would never play with a back three. In fact, when he was Australia boss, he used to play with a back three, and still had inverted fullback. So
I can see how that can work.
Yeah,
I can see.
I mean, but I would say that the minute he's fixed on a back four, because that's what he sees as the most appropriate in the Premier League at the moment. Yeah, but I wouldn't rule it out.
Oh yeah, he's got, obviously Postecoglou's got plans and how to do, when to do it. We've seen that in recent games, haven't we? Where with 5-10 minutes to go against Newcastle, he changed it to back three. He did it the other day as well. So he's probably, we'll see what happens.
These fans who are having three centre backs means you have more attacking players out the pitch is rubbish. Ange plays two inverted fullbacks up the field, so it means we would have less players up the pitch. It depends. Like I said, the formations are just literally pieces on a piece of paper. They never stay the same. Football's fluid. You can start off with any formation, and it doesn't have to look like that at any shape or form of the game. It very rarely does. Maybe defensive formations do, but attacking formations don't.
Our fullbacks are finished up in their penalty, in the opposition's penalty box.
Exactly. Our fullbacks pick it up in our box.
So by doing the maths, we must have more forwards. More forward players up front. Yeah. Just not all the time, perhaps.
Not all the time. Yeah, it's the balance. The way that we play and the balance of possession that we do have means we should be in the attacking third in that territory more often than not, which the stats have borne that out. But that obviously then means we are, as we've seen, more susceptible to quick counter plays. So I think teams, like I said, now we're going to be playing all the teams again. We've already started that process, and I think teams are probably going to think to themselves, we see now we can hurt them. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. But because we've got these players back now, I'm happy that our defense, even though we're still going to concede a lot of opportunities, we're not going to concede as many because we've got that pace at the back again. Were you going to say something, Sean?
No, I'm just going to welcome Daniel to the chat. It's good to see him there and value his contributions. I'm liking the Alex Scott experience in contributions as well.
Seen Alex Scott before, but I hadn't seen Daniel Lee. See, Daniel, I do know things. I've got this up here. It's up there, that is. Any more transfer rumours?
Yeah, so Conor Gallagher's not happening. Conor Gallagher's not happening. It's done and dusted. Apparently he's staying. They don't want to sell, so he's staying.
They never wanted to sell.
Well, I don't know whether they
not in January anyway.
Not in January, yeah, not in January.
I think they've got another potential sale in that brochure.
Maybe.
So basically, they're only selling Gallagher to make FFP or PSR. So if they can get the same money for brochure, then they'll sell him instead.
So, question for you. Now, don't bite my head off, and everybody in the comment section, please don't bite my head off. It probably will not happen at all, because this club will not sell him to us. But Emil Smith-Rowe's been told he can go on loan, or apparently West Ham are looking at him because he's going further down the pecking order at Arsenal.
I can see where this is going.
Question, would you have him at Spurs? Under Postecoglou, yeah? Not under Conte or Mourinho, but under Postecoglou, would you have Smith-Rowe?
He's a Hale End boy. Through and through. I just don't know. Now listen, this is perfect. I'll be very quick because I can see Sean. What? Go on, Sean. Because I'm just like I need time to think about this.
I've got 3 10s who I think are better than him. We've got 3 10s who are better than Maddison. He's not Maddison. He's not in Maddison's class. He's not as good as Kulusevski. And I would even say Lo Celso would give him a run for his money.
But could you imagine? Could you imagine what them gooners would be like?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
To me, it'd be almost like signing Jack Wilshere because he's one of them hairline boys. We're not going to ever see Saka play for us. We'll never, in my opinion, I didn't think we was ever going to have potential talk about players like Emile Smith-Rowe playing for us in Kitty. All them. Arteta loves them, but he doesn't seem to trust some of them. He trusts 1 or 2 of them, but not trusting all of them. He still probably loves them. And for them to come to our club, imagine that.
Yeah.
He rocks up holding the Spurs, it won't feel right. It just won't feel
The thing
right.
is, though, he was doing very well, weren't he, up until that injury, and then that injury sort of done him for a while, and I think he's now trying to get back in, and it's just not happening. He's going down the pecking order. I'm not saying he's better than Maddison. I'm not saying he's better than Kulu. The debate's out with Lo Celso, but
people are saying they would take him though.
But
you know what I mean? David's saying he'd take him.
Day, I think Smith-Rowe's a cracking player, and he's young, and he's willing to learn. And I think under Postecoglou, it will. You know, that's what I said at the beginning. It's not gonna happen.
Listen, let me just read this comment out. Eddie Rice says, "Yes, Sid, I would have him. All his family are massive Spurs fans."
There you go. There's all the people on the group comments, most of them. Yeah.
We can always thank David for the rod of correction.
David's on next level, isn't he?
The rod of correction has come in. David Clark has said Smith-Rowe only gets 5 minutes for Arsenal, even when they're playing crap. So he's bloody useless. There you go. The rod of correction has spoken.
There you go. But I'll just throw it open because you know what?
What?
I can see I can see this happening, right? And we've said it already with Kudus, Paqueta, etc. Bowen. They've gone to West Ham and they've hit the ground running, and everyone, Spurs fans, have turned around and said, "We could have had him. He would have played. We had business." Yeah, it's never going to happen. Like I said right at the beginning, it will never happen. But it was a good shot anyway. Welcome to Callum Roche as well. I'm sure.
Welcome to Callum Roche. And listen to Callum's again. I like our people.
No, I've seen Callum. I've seen Callum in the comments before. Yeah.
Apologies, my memory's not that great then. But Callum's got a good comment here, and it looks like he knows his ball. Morgan Gibbs White, if you're looking for
every single day, Morgan Gibbs White.
Who does Smith-Rowe replace? Not Smith-Rowe. Who does Morgan Gibbs replace then? Who are you taking out?
Don't replace anybody. We're going to lose players naturally by a progression of natural wastage anyway. I'm hoping that Ndombele is going to be gone soon. He's still at the club. There's players that are going to just fall off by the wayside due to end of contracts, due to us getting rid of them in the summertime. If we got him, I think it would do bloody Brennan Johnson the world of good. And that would help us in the long run as well. Because I just think he's lacking confidence and maybe he needs a mate. Yeah, it's all good saying we've got a bit of a family unit, but if you've just come from somewhere where you're one of your best mates, because he's a young kid, he's still 22 from Nottingham, you know what I mean? Maybe he needs a mate that he knows better.
So from going from one of the main men at Nottingham Forest, probably now becoming a hero at Nottingham Forest, he comes into the Spurs side, guys. And I'm asking you both this question. Who's he replacing in that team? He could then potentially become going from captain stroke playing every single game to not getting as much game time as he would at Forest at Tottenham. Whose position does he take?
He takes Lo Celso's place.
Listen,
Lo Celso doesn't start.
I think it's a little bit more not complicated, but for me, it is simple and complicated. That's a bit of a phrase there. For him, you should look at your development. As a young, how old is he, Morgan Gibbs White?
20. I'll Google it. One sec. I think he's about 24.
Can't be much older than 24, 25, I don't believe.
Oh, I saw him have a real great game for Wolves against
23.
Flipping out. Okay. So for me, it's a no-brainer. If you're looking for your career, you're going to come to Spurs. A lot of players are now going to come to Spurs for their development, particularly at that sort of age. I think we've moved away from the likes of Manchester United just being able to wave a checkbook and saying, here, come to us, because you can see that their football is atrocious. Chelsea, the same. They can wave all that they want. A lot of players have gone there because of that, and now their careers are going to suffer. if you are serious about your football, he's serious about playing for England. I could see that being a great stepping stone for him, regardless of whether he thinks he can get into that first team or not, because you're not guaranteed, you shouldn't be guaranteed in any football team to get in that first team. The manager's biggest job is to convince you that when you're not playing, you're still part of it. And when you're required to play, you can do exactly or even better job than the player you've replaced. That's the aim. Whether that's reality or not, that doesn't always occur, but that's the aim. So we need competition. Bentancur, what are we going to say when all them players come? Bentancur is going to be in there. We're going to have Basuma. We're going to have Sarr. We're going to have Madison. We're going to have Kulishevsky. We're going to have Lo Celso. Are all these players going to play in any one game? No. Are they happy to be at Spurs developing under Ange Postecoglou? 100%. So Morgan Gibbs-White, if you're listening, son,
listen,
you know what to do.
I'm not saying I would not have him, because I think he's a baller. He's an absolute baller. And if we got him, that's a fucking statement, man. That would be a massive statement again to say, you know what, we're going places, and a lot of teams will start shitting their pants because they'll be like, fucking hell, these lot, man, they're getting them slowly, but they're getting the boys in. The big boys are coming. The army's being assembled.
This Smith Rowe.
Anyway, we're going down the road of Football Manager here.
We are.
We always do though, because we're football people, so we want to go into it a little bit more depth. But we could do a lot worse than Smith Rowe, Daniel. Right, let's, because you did ask that question. Right, let's take the old Spurs hat off and the bias and all the rose-tinted glasses. Yes, Smith Rowe has got potential. Is he 23? Did you say?
Yeah.
Is he coachable? Yes, I've seen enough talent in him to believe that. What's happening to him at Arsenal? I really don't know. They signed him up, give him a number 10 shirt, Bergkamp shirt. I don't know what's going on. So he needs somewhere where he's going to be loved, I think. But Arsenal aren't going to let him go. So I don't see it happening. That's what I'm saying.
My concern is that he's the new Wilshere.
Nah.
He's picked up an injury and he never recovers. And I wonder whether that's why. Although Arteta is a strange one, isn't he? I mean, he loves a player, and then when he falls out of love with you, he just like what he's done to Ramsdale. His
man management's shit, Sean. His man management is terrible. Think about the players that he's alienated that are now, you know, I don't understand what he's doing with, like, Zinchenko. Yeah, great, lovely, love you, great. Jesus, love you, great.
Don't go down that road. Don't talk about them. Let's move on.
I keep doing that.
Stop it. But do you know what? I think now we've finally, like you said, Sean, we're now coming to that stage now where the players that we've been saying for years, get rid of, they're gone. And
or
now
going.
Angie's now saying, listen, I don't want him. I now want players that I want. And it's like I said at the beginning, it's that phone call, isn't it? Right. I want you at my club. This is this. I'm going to put the phone down. This is my request. You make your decision. And it's like Maddison said, and Vicario and Dragusino all said, this guy, I don't know what he's saying to us when we're talking to him, but once he puts that phone down, we want to sign for Spurs. And that's the way to do it. None of this, let's chase him. I think them days now of us chasing players and us being in, Spurs are after this guy again. 5 months later, Spurs are still after him. 6 months later, Spurs are still after him. Them days are gone now, I think, under Postecoglou.
I think I would add to that, and it's not, I don't disagree with you, but I would say it's easier to do that with younger players, hence the reason why they're getting younger players. If you've got like a seasoned professional who's 27, 28, who's been earning 200 grand at Real Madrid, it's more difficult to say, well, yeah, take a pay cut and come to Spurs, because you're going to have to. Do you know what I mean? So I think developing players...
I think, and well, one, he develops players, but his system is quite attritional, as we're finding out with the popping of hamstrings left, right, and centre. And I think the younger players tend to be able to run for longer and harder and adapt, you know, and recover quickly. So you may see a complete rejuvenation. That's why I wouldn't rule out Ben Davies being quietly sold in the summer, you know, because he's 30. He's 31 now. So
I can see that happening, Sean. I agree with you that. I just don't think he'd go this month. I don't think he'd want to go this month anyway, because Yeah, players know that there's a little something happening. Say no more than that. A little something happening. Who's this? Manu Kone at Gladbach. Do you rate him?
Kone. Yeah, I've heard of Kone. Kone, yeah. I've
I
heard
don't
bits about him.
don't really watch the Bundesliga, so I can't say.
I've heard.
I'm a Serie A man. Sorry.
Yeah, I've heard bits about him. I'm supposed to be good, but again, how good we don't know.
It's kind of quieting down on the centre back front, which is probably because we signed Dragusin. Do you think we need another centre back? Just a yes or no answer for this month, not in terms of the summer, but this month.
Nope.
Sean,
I think no. I would say we centre back is put back to the summer now.
Agreed. If we do potentially get Nusa in, do you think we'll do any more business? Oh no, I'll reword that. Are we going to do any more business this month? We've got 13 days. Is it 19th or is it the 18th? 19th. So we've got 12 days left of the window.
I think Conor Gallagher was somebody, I don't know whether Poster wanted him or the people above wanted him. I think they wanted Conor Gallagher, and I think they were throwing all their books at that angle to try and get him. Now that's not been happening, or now it's not going to happen. I've got a funny feeling we've got 11 days, 10 days left, 11 days left of the transfer window. I've got a funny feeling Postecoglou and our scouting team have changed players and are looking for someone else to come in that kind of a role. And I won't be surprised if we end up getting an attacking player somewhere. Don't know who, but I've got a feeling this Noose one is not coming till summer anyway. That's one for the future.
No, I think. Oh yeah, he won't. Potentially he won't be coming to stuff, but they might do the deal in January. They'll do the deal now.
But I think push comes to the shove. I think Postecoglou wants another attacking stroke thingy. Because remember, still potentially February is when Son comes back, right? Potentially Feb. So first or second week of Feb. So I think Post wants another player coming in.
What like a striker?
An attacking Conor Gallagher stroke, maybe. I don't know about a striker. I think Richarlison has taken that now. I think he's looking at an attacking kind of a player, somebody in the mold of Conor Gallagher, likewise player. Listen,
I think for me, I don't want them just to get a player for getting players' sake. I personally think at this moment in time we could. I hate to use the word get away with it, but I think we could get to the summer based on what the players are coming back and the potential of the amount of games that we've got between now and say February. The other thing as well is I don't want to. It's like me at Christmas. I remember me at Christmas. I got money, got some money. Didn't get loads of money, but I got some money for Christmas. And I thought, no, what do I go and buy? What do I go and buy? I don't know what to go and buy. You end up going down JD and just buying some Adidas boxer shorts, which I didn't actually need. I don't want us to take that same sort of approach, you know what I mean, just to get another body in, because again, you've got to get the dynamics right in the squad. Plus, we don't want to be overloaded with players as well. We still got some players that are potentially coming back. Do we give the likes of Sessegnon a bit of a go if he decides to get himself fit? Me personally, no, but Ange might think differently. So I know that he wants a family unit, and I think he's identifying players that fit that mold more so than anything. Because Dragonson, as I said to you before, I think he's going to be a magnificent player for us. I've just seen his attitude. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Any more. Yo, lads, should love Gallagher because he's a player, not a striker or midfielder players, but can play anywhere. So you should love him. A jack of all trades, laugh out loud. David, man, why are you always giving us this rod of correction all of the time? You always got some... What's this? Oh, Jesus Christ. What he used to look like and what he now looks like. That, see, you know what? That's where the scouting is...
That is unbelievable.
If he had a bloody M on the front, I wouldn't be surprised. That could be M for McDonald's. See what this can do to you. Flipping hell. Wow. You might want to get the best price for Højbjerg now too.
Callum has raised an issue, hasn't he? Does that mean Højbjerg stays if we're not going to get Gallagher?
Højbjerg wants to go though. So again, this is all talk. Supposedly, I don't know whether I haven't spoke to to Højbjerg to know he wants to go. But the talk is that if a right offer came in, I think Spurs would look at it and he would want to go as well. So I've heard. I don't know how true that is.
But the problem with that one, right, guys, is Basuma and Saw don't come back till February.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. So
I think Sarr will be later than Basuma.
Yeah. So then would Postecoglou want to sell Højbjerg? Because that leaves us even shorter in midfield. You know what I mean? So I know he wants to go, but Postecoglou's not stupid. And if he knows that Senegal and Mali Mali are doing well in AFCON, then he ain't gonna. I think with the Højbjerg one, he's gonna go to the last minute of the transfer deadline day, pending what's happening in the AFCON. He's gonna.
We could still get a good fee for Højbjerg in the summer.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, if that's the case, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And if Højbjerg doesn't get the club that he wants to go to, I don't think he just wants to get out of Spurs. I don't think that's the case either. So if he doesn't get the move that he wants, I think he'd stay.
Oh yeah, he wants a Champions League team. He wants, so it's that's understandable. Yeah, I 100%.
I agree with that. I don't think he's just going to say, I want to get out of Spurs. Although at one point early in the season, when I see him walking off, when all the other players were doing this, I was a bit concerned. Someone's had a word in his ear, whether that's the manager, because he ain't really done that a lot to you. I've seen him out there, you know what I mean, giving all the... and someone's had a word in his ear. You need to fix up, mate. I think that's probably what's been said. What else then, gentlemen? You enjoying the AFCON? Because as I said, I'm not watching it.
What I've watched has been good. Yeah, I mean, I like the technical play. Some of the goalkeeping leaves a little bit to be desired, perhaps. But then this is the continent that gave us an honour of Manchester United. So
let me tell you about that, Sean. Let me just quickly tell you about that. And this is, I can say this. I'm allowed to say this. Black players don't really want to be goalkeepers. They get put in goal, and they've got fucking I've got to get in goal. They all want to be outfield players. So that is why the standard of goalkeeper.
Are you saying that's a racist decision?
It is. I'm going to say that. I can say that though. I'm allowed.
Are you saying there was 11?
Black goalie lives matter, eh?
Yeah, are you saying there was 11 players on the pitch and everyone said what position? He was the last man standing, and the goalkeeper position was standing, and he had no choice.
Had no choice. Most of them players in goal for the AFCON didn't want to be in goal.
And then did he pull his shirt up and say, "Why always me?"
Why only me?
Anyway, after last Sunday, my boy Ollie Skip stood up and had his best performance. So we don't need any.
No, I'm not good at that. The contribution to the goal was fantastic. Obviously, the ball from Romero to him to then get it onto Timo Werner, who then assisted, which is brilliant. I liked it. So yeah, Ollie Skip, and again, he is young. He's got a ceiling, and I think he's going to be our next Ben Davies, if I'm honest with you. In terms of, that's not disrespecting him, but to say that he's a player that every manager's going to love because he will do what the manager asks him to do. And you need players like that. Doesn't matter what situation, what circumstance. You need players who are just going to willing to just come on. Emerson Royal's another one. Yes, boss. Where do you want me to play? I want you to play today, Emerson. Oh, let me think of a position. Number 10. Emerson, go and do that. And he'll do it. He might not do it very well.
I want you to replace your mate Richarlison up front.
And do exactly what Richarlison does, which is not scores. No, I'm really joking, Richarlison, because you're scoring goals for us now, son.
I love Richarlison.
Yeah, he's a good player. Senegal, I look great, and Sarr still on the bench. Senegal look great, and Sarr still on the bench.
Official.
What's that?
Perisic is done.
Perisic is gone.
Yeah.
Things are happening.
Thank you for your efforts.
Yeah. What I will say is including the thanks, is we are now beginning to get players out. You remember we was a situation.
Oh my God.
Where we weren't getting anybody out the door.
that was always an accusation that was aimed at Paratici. He even at Juventus, he was terrible about getting players out. He was great getting them in, but he couldn't get them out. But obviously the new groom have come in and they've said, "Go, you can go. We'll put you there." And I think that the Plymouth connection, as well as their new coach, was an unders coach at the England FA.
That's right.
He knows Devine, he knows Phillips. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a kind of, a bit of a, I don't know,
Transition?
a relationship between the two teams. So if he knows players that have come through the England under 21s or the under 18s, 19s, and he wants a player, I think it looks like Plymouth will be not our dumping ground, but our trial.
Our training.
Our trial. Yeah.
David Rod of Correction Clark. This is for you, Sean, to answer, and then Sid can do that. Skip's pass to Werner was lousy. It was hit too long and wide of Werner. Werner had to go and fetch the ball, and he still assisted the goal.
Yeah, he only assisted the goal because he was forced to go wide, David. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
David, we're only joking, mate. Don't go. I know he's going to put some comment in he's going. David's going to come back with something. Sid, do you think it was a lousy pass?
I think he meant that pass, man. And if anything, Werner should have been in that position, because as soon as he picked that ball up, he knew exactly where to go. And I think it was a pass and a half, mate. If that would have been Kevin De Bruyne, Kevin Navel would have been going, oh!
Yeah, and what about the pass in the first half, the ping on the volley, which Werner then scuffed wide,
Exactly. So, you know what? You've got to give credit where it's due sometimes. And
you do have to give credit where it's due.
And he's played. It's amazing when you play a couple of games, you get a little bit of a rhythm going, and you're not in and out the team.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not a dancer, though, isn't it?
He might be an ice skater, though.
Sam got that one.
He might be good at skipping. No.
Well,
okay. All right, time to go. I think time to go. It might be time to go. Who else has been in our house? So David, thank you for watching. Callum Roach, Daniel E. New guys.
Eddie Ryan, regular.
Eddie Ryan, Jews nuts.
Got experience. That's great. That is. I like that. I might try and rename myself something similar. Jews nuts, as always. David Clark, as always, he entertains and gives us.
Tell you what, did you see Alex Scott for Bournemouth the other week? Oh, man. We missed a player there. We did miss a player there.
Yes.
I actually got glasses. I just don't wear them on stream, David. So, you know what I mean? I do have
got
glasses.
Mine on, David. Got mine on.
We've all got glasses. And to be fair, I did go, no, it weren't Specsavers. Where's the other place called? Vision Express. That's the one. There are other opticians available.
Other opticians available, yeah.
David, you do make me laugh.
Anyway, I've seen one of them, yeah. Anyway, but
right. We move. Okay, so we ain't got a game this weekend.
Nope.
We've talked enough about Arsenal. I'm not wanting that. I don't want Smith Rowe. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna say that out loud. I don't want Smith Rowe. So yeah, I hope they lose to Crystal Palace. Roy, do a job for me. Do a job for yourselves, boys. Do a job for yourselves, Crystal Palace. Don't do a job for us. Do a job for yourselves.
At least he's not playing, though. That's the problem.
Oh no, at least he's not playing.
Yeah.
Hey ho. We've seen what Roy Hodgson does. He's a very much right. I'll just set him up, and he'll set him up correctly away from home. So I don't suspect it'll be any different. It's just they won't have as much threat on the counter. But they'll love it.
If they could score first, it would really put the cat amongst the pigeons, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Really.
You know, then Arsenal would start to panic.
It really would.
Salah has a hamstring injury that will hurt Liverpool.
It will. I don't know how long he's out for, but if it's a hamstring, 4 to 6 weeks minimum, depending on what grade it is.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't been sent home, has he, from the AFCON?
He hasn't been sent home yet, no.
Okay. Well, we'll see. If he magically appears in the next game, this is bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
Bullshit. Final thoughts then, Sean?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, if this deal goes through and him being loaned back to his parent club. And as I said at the beginning, I do not recognise this Tottenham Hotspur Football Club transfer committee. I just don't recognise it. Buying players that we need in places that we need, with a thought for the future. Incredible. Carry on, Johan and the gang, and Don Fabio out there in the mist. And can I say, fantastic news from Rome. Jose has gone. Yay! What's a robbery? Brilliant. Oh, I love it.
Terrible. Oops, that was the phone going off. Let me just turn that on silent. Sid, final thoughts?
Final thoughts then. People might remember a certain pop group in the 90s or the 80s, whichever, or 2000s, or a woman called M People. You remember them?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
small.
I do.
What's
Apparently,
small?
What?
Yeah. There's a new version coming out now, and apparently it's called Ange People, and it goes to the beat to "Cause I'm moving on up, you're moving on out, moving on up, nothing can stop us."
Well, apart from Liverpool and Man City this year.
I don't know.
Next year. Oh,
You never know. It's good. No, it's good. It's good.
next year.
I'm
Sam
gonna
will
start
be
singing
back with
that
his
in the
chest
stadium
going,
now.
we're going to win the
I'm gonna
Champions
start
League. We're
singing
going to
that.
win the league.
Gonna start singing that, mate. Gonna
I
start
can't say
singing.
the Champions League this season because obviously we're not in it. But
Anyway.
But we will be in it next
Hold
year.
on. Have you been practicing the song yet, Sam?
What song?
Radu drag you sing sing Radu drag.
That's not going to catch on.
Not going to catch on.
It's not catching on.
The Boney M song's the one. That's
No.
You can keep on with that drag. It's not.
Drag your shin.
No. I'd only do that when I'm drunk. But I'm going to be in.
Defender of the Tottenham team. Da, da, da. It's already underway, my friend.
Let me just add to this. I'll be away as of next week, Saturday, people. Somewhere sunny. Actually, very sunny. I'm going to Montego Bay. I can't wait. Oh, that's just me. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm sure these guys will hold the fort well because they always do.
I will be back in my team at White Hart Lane on the Friday night.
I'll be back in my team at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
What's that? Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? What's that?
Well, I was going to be nice to you guys.
You know what? Tomorrow,
since you lot have been horrible
20th of January, 1968 was the first time I was in White Hart Lane Stadium watching us.
Wow.
20th of January, 1968.
Wow.
A 1-0 win against the Gooners. Gilzine, born is the king of White Hart Lane. Come on, Spurs.
Might need the guitar for that one next time. That might work. I like that. The guitar's not been out for a while. My final thoughts are not really final thoughts. I'd just like to say thank you to you two. Thanks to our Nuno Espirito Santos lookalike up in the top corner over there. And thanks to the French Renaissance painter.
The
French painter.
Do I make you feel proud?
Shawnee. Huh? Shawnee Lahell down there. That's it.
Of course, sir. David Ginola.
We should do this daytime more often. That's it. I think that's it now. Who's put something in there?
Me.
Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna go now. We're gonna go. Thank you very much. Let me find the music, and then we're out. So thank you very much. Like, subscribe, comment. You know what to do. And where's the
Come on,
drum
you
and bass?
Spurs.